In this video, we're taking a look around the University of the Sunshine Coast. I'm so excited to be here because by the end of this video, you're going to know all about this institution and you're going to have a really good idea about whether or not this is a place that you should consider studying at. My name's Rob Malicki. Welcome to Choosing Your Uni. This is the channel for anyone that's thinking of studying at an Australian university. And I'm super pumped to be here. I've been to USC many times before, but this is the first time filming one of these unbiased reviews. My whole purpose here is to try and present unbiased, independent information to help you make a choice about whether or not this is the right university for you. I've been working in Australian higher education for over 20 years, have been helping literally tens of thousands of students to make the most out of their experience at Australian universities. So we're going to have some great info in here. You ready for a look around this amazing place? Let's go and check out the University of the Sunshine Coast.
This.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Is this your first time here at Choosing Your Uni? The place to start is by hitting that subscribe button, turning on notifications. My whole purpose, the whole reason I'm doing this channel is just to help provide you with independent information and guidance on how to choose the right uni for you. I've got no other agenda here other than providing the best possible independent information for you. So if you turn that on, you're going to be getting notified every time I put out new content that is relevant to helping you make this huge decision, right? Now, it's not huge in the sense that you can't change or that you should feel heaps of pressure about it, but it is one of the most time-consuming things you'll do in your life and one of the most expensive. Choosing your uni is going to take you years of your, well, not choosing, but going to uni is going to take a couple of years out of your life and it's going to cost you literally tens of thousands of dollars. So you want to make sure you get the decision as close as you can first time around, and that's all I'm here for. So make sure you hit that button and we'll get started down there. The university was founded back in 1996. I think it was the University College of the Sunshine Coast originally, and then in 1999 it became the University of the Sunshine Coast itself. And as a result, it's very young by Australian standards, certainly by global standards. And so all of the infrastructure that you see here is no more than like 25 years old. And it really shows. It's a beautiful outdoor campus, really gives you heaps of sunshine, lots of opportunities to see the sky, but all of these buildings are really new and modern. And I love that. I love the feeling when you walk into a university and everything feels kind of cutting edge. Heaps of great spaces for students, both to hang out and study as well. We've had a look inside the library, but I can just imagine, it's actually university break right now, which is why there are not too many students around, but I can just imagine when this place is pumping full of 20,000 students, it'd be so great. Everybody out here on the lawns, enjoying the sunshine and getting a bit of study done too. What an awesome vibe. Sunshine Coast always delivers. One of the things that I think is really important as a student is having really good access to your teachers, so your lecturers, professors, prac teachers and the like. This lecture theatre that you're looking at is one of the medium-sized lecture theatres here at USC, and it is an advantage to this institution that class sizes are smaller. So if you're someone who feels like you want to have better access to your teachers and maybe you're a little bit worried about going to a university where the class sizes are huge and you might be anonymous, USC certainly has an advantage for you in that regard. There are 6 schools here at USC. You've got business, law, education, nursing, health, including paramedicine, and science and engineering. So lots of different choices covering many, many different disciplines. It's not a huge university by Australian standards, around 20,000 students split across undergraduate and postgraduate programs. There are some areas of strength in terms of research, but it's not like one of the major metropolitan institutions in Australia where they're doing tons and tons and tons of research. But like all Australian universities, research is part of what makes it an institution, it makes it a university. One of the things to remember about Australian universities is that all of them are quality controlled by the federal government. There's an agency called the Tertiary Education Quality Standards Authority, TEQSA. Every 5 or 6 years, Australian universities are put through a process where they are controlled for their quality. What that means is that it doesn't matter which institution you end up studying at, you're going to get a great education here in Australia. If you want to talk about rankings for a moment, because for some people rankings is really important, USC by most measures, in most rankings, ranks about 20th out of Australia's 40 universities, and on a global scale is ranked somewhere around 200 to 300. Let me put that in perspective for you. Being ranked 200 to 300 in the world puts USC in about the top 2% of institutions globally. And being ranked 20th in Australia makes it in the top half. Now, what I really encourage you to do if you're thinking about rankings is to look into the detail, because USC in some of its discipline areas ranks really well. And so regardless of what the top line ranking is, you should always look into the detail of how your particular discipline of interest ranks at a given university. And the best way to do that is to jump on a website called compared.edu.au. I'm going to drop the link right here, compared.edu.au. That's a government source of information where the Australian government every year collects data, both from universities themselves, as well as surveying students and employers to create this data set where you can literally compare institutions, and not just compare institution by institution, but really drill down into the data on a subject level. So always check out the detail about rankings for the institutions you're interested in. Compared.edu.au is the best way to do that. Well, welcome to the cave. This is something that I haven't seen anywhere else in any university, anywhere in Australia, and I've visited them all. This is a 320-degree immersive educative experience. So you can see I'm in a simulated environment of being in a stadium full of people. And what USC does is bring paramedic students, so those are students who are learning to be ambulance officers, into this space to literally simulate treating somebody in a real life environment. But USC takes that further. USC has got a drama program here on campus, so it'll actually bring in acting students to come into this space and simulate being a patient in a real world environment. USC isn't the only place in the world that has this kind of facility, but it's one of the top 4 in the entire world for the amount that it actually gets used. So if you really value real world experience and the opportunity to actually come and learn in a space like this could be an institution for you. Paramedic students, education students, and the university even uses this space for student welfare programs. So they do guided meditations sitting in front of a beautiful lake. Does that sound awesome? Sounds like something that I need on a day when I'm stressed out. Great option. Okay, this is one of the things I think I'm most excited about finding here at the University of the Sunshine Coast. This is in the brand new Creative Industries building. This building's been open for less than a year at time of filming. And if you're in this space like video, audio, performance, creative arts sort of spaces, this is brilliant. This is like cutting edge. And here we are in one of the green screen suites. So this is a recording studio space. A lot of fun. Check this out. Good fun, isn't it? Back at uni, I actually studied some audio engineering and did a bunch of video work as well. Go figure how I ended up on YouTube. And so to see these kind of facilities being available to students and brand new is awesome. So if you're interested in audio, you're interested in video, this is a good option for you. So true story about my audio engineering days back at university. We basically just had like a pretty crappy old classroom that we used for our audio engineering. Nothing like a dedicated studio space. But ours, we could book it overnight and you could get access to the building 24 hours. So the only time slot that I could get to do my audio engineering projects was from midnight to like 6 a.m. And so I'd literally be pulling my all-nighters, cutting ridiculously crazy electronic music clips, which was a lot of fun. Oh, I wish I'd had something like this. Incredible. Again, one of the advantages of having a brand new campus is that you end up with these awesome facilities. This is a collaborative teaching and learning space. And you can see all of these different group tables where you can have students working on different parts of a group assignment or group work during class, and then literally gets thrown up onto this mega screen up here at the front. So you're starting to see more and more of this in Australian universities, but not every institution is as far down the road as USC is, for example. And this makes class a lot more fun. And once again, studying online versus being in a classroom where you get to collaborate with your peers in this kind of space is a really fantastic way to learn, and definitely a way of the future. So great to see USC moving ahead with this kind of space. This is what they call a sticky space in Australian universities. It's basically places where students can come and hang out and spend more time on campus and sit around with friends and people doing work in different group projects, get work done, then also have just some good space on campus. So you've got some group rooms over here if you're working on group assignments that you can just get in there and do that together. So once again, everywhere where Australian universities are investing in these like collaborative spaces for students is a step towards the future, because why else would you go and study a degree when you can do so much online these days? You do it for these kind of spaces where you can really hang out with other students and get to work with them, get to know them. That's the real advantage of being on campus. So great to see this kind of space here too. This is the nursing simulation room, and you can see equipment in here is really up to date. I really love this sort of stuff. These dolls are very expensive as a starting point, but not only can nursing students get hands-on in terms of practicing some of their techniques, but these dolls do all sorts of crazy things. They'll yell at you if you poke them the wrong way, so it's very, very realistic indeed. Yeah, I'm glad that's not me on the bed. But if you want to be a nurse, this is a good place to come. The university is obviously linked in with the Sunshine Coast University Hospital just down the road from here, so people studying in the health disciplines do have the opportunity of doing their practical placements, and that being very tightly integrated with the program, which is always an advantage. This is the Student Guild. This is like the student organisation here on campus. This is a brand new space and it's pretty funky. Bean bags, billiard table. I love the fact that you don't have to pay for that. It always used to give me the shits at the uni bar, though. I always used to have to put $2 into the machine in order to play pool. But you can see lots of games here, and this during term time when you've actually got students around would be absolutely buzzing. The Guild organises heaps of different activities here on campus, everything from like yoga to movie nights. And if you want to join a club or society, and I've got a whole video about clubs and societies, you can find it right up there. About 30 different clubs and societies on offer. You can actually see it right here. Quidditch. If Quidditch is your thing, you can get it here at USC, along with tons of different other options. You can find all of those on the Student Guild website, on USC's website itself. This is Student Central, so if you're a current student, domestic or an international student here at USC, this is the place that you come to ask all of your questions. So, great example, enrolment help, having trouble with your classes and what have you, here's a great place to come. It's also a place that you'll come if you've got appointments and you're needing to connect with different staff members here at the uni. So a nice place to come and spend time. Right here in the middle of the campus, Building C is the place, and importantly, coffee's right next door. Cafe C. This is the brasserie. This is the main eating place if you're on campus. So limited amount of space compared to some of the universities out there, but the thing to know is that this whole area around the university, it's called Sippy Downs, and Sippy Downs has got major shopping centres nearby, Woolworths and Coles, tons of eating options, all within about 10 minutes walk from here, not to mention a ton of student accommodation just about 5-minute walk away. So if you're going to be living on campus here, yes, there's the brasserie, but being able to go home for a quick meal is also possible, and then having access to all of the supermarkets and other eateries outside the university makes it a very attractive option if what you're looking for is cheap, easy places to get yourself fed. So what else do you need to know about the University of the Sunshine Coast? Kind of over on the edge of campus now, heading towards University Central, which is one of the accommodation areas. And the university has this fantastic wetland right on the edge of the campus. 200 different bird species apparently make their home here, which is pretty freaking cool. One of the things that's been important for the university as well is focusing on sustainability. It's invested quite a lot since its establishment to make sure that it's saving water and running as much as possible off solar power. So literally, what did I read on the internet? It was like $100 million worth of savings through renewable energy was what the university was hoping to achieve over 25 years. So really investing in trying to become a sustainable institution. In terms of things that are less sustainable, car parks, well, some people are going to be driving to campus. I think there are about 1,000 car spots on campus. You do have to pay, unfortunately, unless you go to one of the car parks that's about 1 kilometre up the road. But parking, like all universities, can be a little bit of a challenge if you're trying to get here during a busy day of student life. Different options of getting here too on the bus from the major parts of the Sunshine Coast, such as Maroochydore. From overseas, you want to see a bit of Australian wildlife while you're here. You don't need to go very far when you're at USC. Kangaroos on campus, 200 species of water birds. Plenty to see here. Even the odd snake, if you're lucky. I'm an Australian bushman, snakes don't bother me. Coming over to check out the sports precinct here at USC. And elite sports is something that's been a real attention area for the university for a long time. And given that Brisbane has won the Olympic Games for 2032, you can guarantee that this is going to be one of the hubs for athletes from all around the world, because there are going to be venues here on the Sunshine Coast for the Olympics, and Brisbane's not that far away. So I wouldn't be surprised if you end up having Olympics teams staying here and certainly doing some of their training here once they arrive in Australia. And the facilities are absolutely awesome. So let's go and check those out. Indoor venue, basketball, handball, all sorts of indoor sports. And you can see it's a really big setup here. So great if you're into sports. You might also get to experience this venue in a different light. It's actually one of the major exam venues. So some people love this place, some people hate this place. The sports facilities here really are first rate. Full 50-metre Olympic-sized pool outdoors there. With the exercise science building just behind, that'd be an amazing place to work looking down on the swimming pool. And in here, 25-metre pool with cameras underwater. So if you're an elite swimmer and you want to work on your technique, this is a place for you. Facilities are utterly extraordinary here. All right, let's get down into the nitty-gritty of what sort of student would be well suited to studying at the University of the Sunshine Coast. Firstly, having been around this place and read a lot about the institution, if you're somebody that likes a smaller class size, a really good community, then this university might be right for you. Obviously the weather here on the Sunshine Coast is lovely. Just down the road you've got the beach, you've got an exceptional student village and plenty of facilities around, as well as a bus service that takes you down to places like Mooloolaba and Maroochydore, which are right down on the coast and lovely places to spend time. So if you love the outdoors and you're interested in a new university with great facilities, then this might be the place for you. The elite sports program here is absolutely fantastic. I love the creative industry spaces they've just created, and there are many, many other really great disciplines. The thing I love about regional institutions is just how they know their communities and they know their role of being an important part of serving a community, and USC is no different to that. Now, whilst it's not a traditional research intensive university like the group of 8 institutions, there are now 26 different areas in which Sunshine Coast Uni is ranked at world level or above. So the standard of research here at USC is going up all the time. And that's obviously great as a student because it means you're connected to the most recent developments in particular fields. So check out the different research strengths of the universities and see if one of those aligns with your interests, because that obviously means that you're right at the cutting edge of what's going on when research is being delivered at world level or above. Now on the Compared website, compared.edu.au, Australian government data, you will find the link down below. You'll find lots of great information about the Sunshine Coast. And I love that website because it's the only place where you're really going to get completely independent data produced by the Australian government. And the university here delivers really high results in a number of key areas. So let's talk about those. The first is employer satisfaction. 5th in the country on the last set of the rankings for employer satisfaction. That means that when you graduate from here, you're ending up with some great skills that employers really appreciate. And over 80% of graduates from USC were saying that they were happy with the skills that they developed here. In terms of overall student satisfaction, also really well rated here by students, and definitely in the top chunk of universities in the country. I think it was 5th, if I'm not mistaken as well. So a very high result. And I would put that down to the fact, not only because it's a beautiful campus, it's outdoors, and there's a really nice vibe here, but teaching quality ranks very highly indeed. The Good Universities Guide has given USC 5-star rating for teaching and learning. And in fact, the university at the moment, at time of filming, is going through a bit of a transition with the way it handles its teaching and learning. And I'm going to drop you a link down in the notes below, and you'll find it just down here. I'd really recommend that you check out this series of videos that USC has released where they talk about their new approach to teaching and learning. It's an institution that previously didn't do an awful lot of online learning, and everything was kind of done in person, very hands-on programs here at the universities. And it's shifting more to blended learning where it's making the most of the technology that's available. And we've seen some amazing spaces here. The simulation studios are absolutely fantastic. And so the university is making use of the technology that's available to enhance the student experience, is the way that they say it. They're not trying to detract from students being on campus. They're not trying to encourage students not to be on campus, but they are trying to give students more choice as to where they consume some of that content. So teaching and learning very well ranked here, and smaller class sizes. The staff to student ratio here is about 23 to 1, 23 students for one academic staff member, which is low compared to most Australian universities. What does that mean? Well, of course, not in every discipline, but in many disciplines, that means smaller than average class sizes compared to other universities, which means you're less lost in the classroom rather than being in one of the mega classrooms in one of the metropolitan universities. So those are some of the reasons why I think USC probably ranks really high for student satisfaction. And when students are happy, they're happy with the skills they're getting, they're happy with the quality of teaching. That flows through to employment outcomes as well. Last but certainly not least, student support rates very, very highly at USC. And so all around, and you see this in quite a few of the regional universities and the smaller sized universities, student satisfaction is high because the classes are smaller, they've got good support services, they're connected to their community, and the facilities are great. So if you're thinking of studying here as either a domestic student or you're coming from overseas, overall, the chances are high that you're going to have a good experience here. Well, it's been awesome showing you around the University of the Sunshine Coast. This place is looking spectacular. My last time here was, I gotta say, like 7 years ago, and the university is looking amazing. You can see that the actual facilities are really being well kept. New buildings, new facilities, new approaches to teaching and learning. And for a place that's really nicely connected into its local community and knowing the people that it serves, I think this makes a really, really nice option as a university, as long as it works for you. Make sure you look into the detail of the rankings, look into the detail of the different subject areas, and if you have any questions or comments, drop them down below, because I love getting back to you if I can be of any help whatsoever. I'm Rob Malicki. It's been great showing you around. I'll see you next time on Choosing Your Uni. Have an awesome day.